Hey everyone, Johnny here. I got a question on one of my videos about doing random rotations for objects, with the stipulation that the rotations would be at multiples of a given angle. So here's a solution that I've come up with for that. Here's an arrow object that's been instanced onto a grid. Now, we can use a point rotate node to set the axis angle. If we use an attribute, we can create a random attribute. We'll call it R. We set R here. We see that we now have random rotations. We can of course increase the maximum so that the rotations go all the way around. However, these are all at arbitrary angles. So the question is, how do we randomly generate a set number of angles? For instance, 90-degree increments, there would be 4 different angles that would need to be generated: 0, 90, 180, and 270. So instead of creating a float, we could create an integer with values of 0 to 3. Then, if we were to add an attribute math node, set it to multiply our R value times 90, and put it back in R, you would see that while the angles have been constrained, they aren't exactly 90, 180, 270, and 0. That's because the angle here needs to be in radians, not in degrees. If you don't know radian math, that's fine. We can use a couple of additional nodes to do that math for us. Let's add an input node of a value and set that to our angle in degrees, so 90. Then we'll add a math utility node and change this to 2 radians. This will convert our degrees into radians. So here, I'll connect this here, and like this. Now, our 90-degree value is being converted into radians. Really, this is pi over 2 radians, so I could have put pi over 2 in the b value here, but instead, this might make more sense to you. So this is a specific solution for 4 angles, but what if we wanted to do any given number of angles? Let's generalize this solution. The first thing we would want to do is have the number of angles be here on our group input. So what I'm going to do is drag this maximum over to the input. You'll see now that we have an integer value here that we can adjust. But 3 isn't what we want. We want 4 angles, not 3. So, but because our attribute randomize was going from 0 to 3, not 1 to 4, we need to adjust this. So I'm going to add a math utility node and subtract 1 from our input. So now our input is 4. This is now going to get a maximum of 3. This works fine with our angles because we're still set to 4. But if I change this to 5, it doesn't work right. We're still only getting 4 angles. That's because this number needs to change. This value is actually 360 divided by 4. So what we need to do is have another math node here, set it to divide, and say 360 divided by our input. And there we go. Now we have 5 angles, 6, and so forth. So there's a final solution for doing stepped rotations that are randomized. I hope this is helpful, and I hope it inspires you to do something awesome. I'll see you next time.